Hi, I'm Jennifer Von Stein, and today I'm going to talk to you and show you how to create a Colorfield painting using the Atelier Interactive Professional Artist Acrylics. One of the great things about contemporary abstract expressionist Mark Rothko's work in his Colorfield paintings are the way that his rectangles just seem to float into the space. The reason I really like these paintings so much is because they have this ethereal, luminous quality. Now, Mark Rothko used oils for many of his paintings, but you can do these techniques using interactive because you have the ability to use wet over dry techniques such as glazing and wet techniques to get that soft blending effect. And I'll show you how. What you're going to need are a selection of paints in both transparent, semi-transparent, and opaque colors. And you'll be able to tell that just by looking at the colors that you see on the paint tube. If you see an open circle, you'll be able to know that it is a transparent paint. If you see something that is opaque and filled in, you'll know it's opaque. And if you see a circle that's half and half, you'll know that it's semi-transparent. I chose some colors, cerulean blue, permanent green light, because those colors are next to each other on the color wheel, and they're analogous colors, so that it will automatically give this a more of a softer, soothing type of look. So I'm going to start first by putting a block of cerulean blue onto 2/3 down onto my surface. So I'm just using just some straight paint, and I'm going to just put down, a square rectangle. I'm not blocking this out exactly. I'm just kind of eyeballing it so I can keep it a little bit looser. I am varying my brush strokes because I do like to have a little bit of texture and a little bit of interest if you look at this painting close up. I don't want it to be so super smooth at this stage of the game. So I'm going to just kind of put that in, and you can see I'm laying the cerulean blue, which is a semi-transparent paint, on fairly heavy so that I can have a good mass tone of color. All right, there we go. The next color that I'm going to use is permanent green light. Clean my brush here, and I'm going to put that down at the bottom third of my painting here. There we go. Now, permanent green light is also a nice semi-transparent color, but you can see when I paint it out and get that nice undertone, it really has that beautiful yellow in it, and I like that, so that'll look good. The reason that I chose these two colors as well is because with the blue and the green, it kind of reminds me of the sky and the land. So it's a nice kind of abstract reference. So here, I want these two edges to blend, and so I'm just going to just kind of go back and forth. And when I start to feel my interactive paint get tacky, that's a sign for me just to give it a little bit of moisture. And I'm using my water sprayer, and that's going to make the paint just go back to that nice creamy consistency, so I'm able to have that nice smooth transition. I don't want any harsh edges right now in this painting. Go, clean my brush off a little bit, and then I'm going to add some more permanent green light onto here. There we go. Build that color up. Now the next thing I'm going to want to do is that I'm going to want to maybe add another strip of color, something to signify the sun. So I'm going to use some of my transparent yellow, which is a full transparent color. Because my paint right now is still wet, I'm going to either set this aside, or in this case, I'm going to use my favorite studio tool, which is a hairdryer, to dry this real quick so I can overpaint. Because if I put wet paint right now onto wet paint, I'd obviously get into a blending situation, and that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to step back and dry this, and then I'll go on to the next step. Okay, I've dried my painting, and I've added just a little strip of transparent yellow. But I don't think it's quite enough, so I'm going to just put some more on top of it. And there we go. Got that on in here so that it can kind of symbolize the sun. Now, one of the things that I had mentioned that I liked about Rothko's work was the way that he was able to make those edges disappear. And this is why interactive is perfect to use in a painting such as this, because you can rehydrate the paint and control the edges. So I'm going to spray just a little bit. And as you can tell, my painting is definitely touch dry on the top where I didn't spray. But here, where I made it moist again, you can see that it's definitely has opened back up. So I'm going to take a little bit of this transparent yellow off, and look how easily that was able to blend. And that's just amazing. And that's something that can't be done with other acrylics. All right, so I've got an area which I like as my sky. I have an area that I like as my field, my grass area. But this really, it's very flat to me right now. So what I want to do is that I want to enhance this painting by doing some glazing techniques. And glazing is where I'm putting some transparent paint in a transparent, kind of film using some medium. I'm specifically using my slow medium. And I'm just going to apply these glazes on top of my dry colors. So I've made up some glazes already. And I used about 80% of slow medium to 20% paint. And I'm going to start with using some phthalo turquoise. Now, the glaze may look pretty dark, but you can always just kind of test it off to the side. And even though it's dark, I'll be able to just wipe some of this off. And I'm applying my glaze with a soft brush. And I'm going to apply it all down here. You can see how it really has started to deepen the color. And the next thing I'm going to do is then I'm going to take my rag, because this is a little too strong, and I'm just going to wipe some off. Make it some softer. And this is why, those old t-shirts or things that you're not quite going to wear anymore, they're perfect to bring into the painting studio because they can be nice and soft. So now I have that nice depth of color. It's not so flat. And I can do the same thing on top, but I'm going to be using some dioxazine purple. Now, dioxazine purple is a very, very strong color. You don't need much of it. And even though this glaze looks very dark, I'm going to be able to put some on and then just wipe some off. And I'm going to put some on right along my top here. And I don't have to cover the entire painting, maybe just parts of it. Get some on the edges. And if I like the way that the glaze looks very dark, then I could just keep it on. But for me, it's maybe just a little too much. So I'm again just going to use my rag and just soften it so I don't have all those harsh edges, those brush strokes. If I feel that my edges are too harsh, I can just use a little bit of water and spray real lightly. And then I can just kind of wipe some up. There we go. And I can continue to do this technique of applying glazes and deepening the colors, working wet and wet. I can do this with interactive as much as I want until I'm satisfied with this painting. Now, for more information on this technique or more information on interactive, please visit our website at www.chromaonline.com.